Hi friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today is a horror video. And if you came here for horror initially, no worries, because we do horror all year. We're horror fans. I'm a horror fan. It's my favorite genre to talk about. So I do horror videos all through the year. They're just a little different than what I would do during Halloween or over the summer. November horror to me just hits different. I go for different subgenres, different themes. You'll see what I'm talking about. And I have 12 films here that I really love, and I hope you will too. This first one, I can't tell you how many times people ask me about this during October, and I said, I'll get to it. Here it is, Oddity. Now, my best recommendation for this, and a lot of films in these piles, just go in as blind as possible. If my little synopsis sounds interesting to you, just take a chance on it. This is basically a film that, as much as I can tell you, we have a gal who's at a remote cabin. She, something happens and she is murdered. And a year later, her blind psychic medium sister shows up unexpectedly at the cabin with some of her items because she has questions about the passing of her sister and the events that led to the passing of her sister. So she shows up and she has these things, and one of the things is this creepy, like, wooden mannequin. And she just kind of sits him at the table and he's there, and it's so unnerving and so unsettling. And this is a movie that will keep you guessing and keep you on the edge of your seat, and the tension, just from beginning to end, the tension is palpable and it runs through the whole course of the movie. If you haven't seen Oddity, please check it out. It's horrifying in the best way. It's disturbing, it's unnerving, it's unsettling, all in the best ways. But don't look into it too much if you haven't seen it. And something I have noticed, I've seen this several times now, every time I watch it, I pick up on something new. So I think the rewatchability on this one is really, really good. So if you haven't seen Oddity, check it out. If you've seen it, check it out again. And I told you I'd get to it. This next one was a recommendation that I got from several people. I hunted it down. I was able to find the standard edition on Vinegar Syndrome. It is Red Rooms. This one comes to us from Canada. And what we have is we have a gal, and her name is Kellyanne. She lives in very close proximity to this courthouse where a very public trial is going on for a man accused of being a serial killer of very young girls. She is obsessed with him. She's obsessed with the trial. She's obsessed with everything. And basically what it does is it starts her doing her own research outside the trials that she's sitting through day and night. She's sitting through these courtroom events. And it takes her to places that you would never want to go, like the dark web and things like that. And she's searching for answers. And all I could say about this one, without spoiling anything, is that this really is a look at our obsession with things like true crime, serial killers, things like that. And sometimes the places that it'll take us that we really maybe don't want to know. Maybe we don't want that answer that we think we want to know. But if you're into that kind of thing, like a slower paced build, courtroom drama, things like that, and a look at the character study type of deal, because we're really taking a look at her and her obsession with this trial, this will be the movie for you. It is fantastic. I really, really like this, and I thank everyone who recommended it to me because I really did enjoy it. And like I said, don't do too much homework on this. I think if you like this kind of film, you're definitely going to love this one. It's one of the better ones I've seen this year. It's very, very good. Really interesting, and it's a really interesting look at people who get obsessed with things like true crime and things like that. Now, this one I mentioned in a haul, but I haven't come back to it. I haven't circled back to it yet, so here it is again. This is a Norwegian body horror film called The Ugly Stepsister, and I absolutely love this. I can't wait until Second Sight gives us the release that they've been talking about, because right now it's available on streaming for about $3 on Prime, or there's this media book which you just can't really get your hands on anymore. Basically what we have is it's loosely based on the tale of Cinderella. We have these two families. They're going to be, the mother and father are going to be getting married. The father dies, and they find out that they have no money. So we have our gal here, the stepsister, and she sets her sights on one of the princes because she thinks that at least she'll be taken care of if she can land herself a prince. But to the prince, she has some physical imperfections that he's not happy with. Maybe she's a little overweight. Maybe there's some things that he'd like changed about her. And basically she goes through all these cosmetic procedures that are just brutal. to get his attention. And that's all I'm really going to say. This is a timepiece. I don't know exactly when it takes place, but it's definitely a timepiece. So the cosmetic procedures are far more brutal than they would be today. And this is just a great, great body horror movie. If you are into that kind of thing, definitely check out The Ugly Stepsister. You will not be disappointed. And I will definitely keep you posted on when Second Sight is doing their release. Now, this next one is from 1968, and it stars the great Vincent Price, one of my favorite guys of all time. And basically, this takes place during a time when England is they're in a civil war between the royalists and the people who support Parliament. And what happens is we have this fella here, played by Vincent Price, and I forget his name. Oh, Matthew Hopkins. And Matthew Hopkins decides to take advantage of the distractions that are going on in the country, and he starts going around from village to village claiming that he is able to hunt out witches. And that's exactly what he does. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to ruin anything, but it's a witch hunter, you know, it's a witch hunting video. And this is a really brutal film, and he plays a despicable, very unlikable character, but in the best way. And all I can say to you is, if you're into like the Salem witch trials and all that kind of thing, this is like the English version of it, but really, really good. If you haven't seen Witchfinder General, definitely check it out. Now, this one is more readily available. This is the 88 Films edition. It just came out this year on 4K, but you can find standard Blu-rays. They're all over the place. On Kino Lorber, you can probably pick up one very inexpensive, maybe on Amazon, but Witchfinder General is readily available, so definitely check that one out. This is another one that I can't really say much about, but I've talked about it before, touched on it, didn't really go much into it because I really can't. It's called Strange Darling. And basically what this is this also, I want to mention that it comes from the producer of both Barbarian and Late Night with the Devil. So if you kind of like the filmmaking style and the tone of those movies, I think you're going to love Strange Darling. And we start out with a scene of a gal running through a field, and she is being chased by a man with a gun, with a shotgun. And she's running, and we don't know what's going on. And what happens is it flashes back to the beginning to tell us the story of how we ended up where the movie is. And that's all I can say. It has to do with a serial killer, but I don't want to get into it because I don't want to ruin anything for you. But this is a fantastic movie. And even though I now know the reveal, I still enjoy it every time I watch it. Strange Darling is a winner of a film, perfect for this time of the year. So definitely check this one out if you haven't seen it. And this is one that I talked about. Maybe I talked about it with the fall movies, but I still think it's great now because it involves food and we're getting closer to Thanksgiving. And it is Gretel and Hansel. And don't sleep on this one just because you think it's based on a fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel, which it is, but it is done in the best way. And it actually ends up becoming more of a witch story. And this one, it's rated PG-13, but again, don't sleep on it because it is so much better than I ever expected this to be. And it really does. In the beginning, it follows the Hansel and Gretel story. We have them walking through the woods. They come upon the house. They smell the food. The witch invites them in, and things go from there. But it doesn't follow the trajectory of the traditional Hansel and Gretel story. It is so dark and so unsettling and so creepy and so very freaking cool. I really enjoyed this so much more than I thought I would. And I think that it's perfect for November because it surrounds food. The movie is really centered around food to begin with. And, what better time than Thanksgiving? But then it just turns into this dark witch story, and it is so, so good. I love Gretel and Hansel, so definitely give it a look if you haven't seen it. Okay, and this next one is a Korean film. It's a Korean zombie film, but it's a little different, so just hang with me. This one is called Rampant, and basically we have a village, and it's run by, it's either an emperor or a king, and he has two sons. One of the sons has been in exile, and he decides to return. And when he returns, he finds out that things are not going well. They think his father is unwell. They think he's paranoid. And the father feels like there are these dark forces at work, these entities at work against the village, against him. And things happen, and the brother decides to stick around because they find out that there are these night demons that are attacking the village at night, and he stays to protect the village and protect his home and whatnot. And all I can say is that this is really cool. It's a very different take on the zombie genre. It has good action, it has good special effects, and I had a really good time with it. Now I know people are like this with it, but like I said, I enjoyed it. It was something different. If you're not sure, give it a stream before you buy it, but definitely check out Rampant. It's a good change up on the zombie subgenre. So that's another pick. And this next one, I enjoyed this one as well. And again, people were kind of like this on it, but people who liked it really liked it, and I'm one of them. This one is called The Cursed. And basically, we have a village. It's a timepiece. We have a village, and strange things are going on. They are having strange encounters when they go out into the fields. They are feeling like there are these violent entities at work. People are getting hurt. People are being killed, and they don't understand what's going on, and they don't know how to protect themselves from these dark forces that are at work against the village, and they don't know why this is happening to them. All is revealed in due time, but all I can say is this is a really cool, like, folk horror story, and if you like that kind of thing, I think you're really going to enjoy this one. I thought it was very well done. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story, and you know, folk horror is my jam, so I liked it. But if you like it too, check out The Cursed. It's a good one. And this next one is based on a book. I have not read the book. I'm not sure how people who read the book will feel about the movie. I don't know, because like I said, I haven't read it, but I really like this movie. It's called Flowers in the Attic. And basically what we have is we have a family. And the father has died, so the mother takes the children to live at the grandparents' home. They're all going to stay with the grandparents, the mother included. And they decide to put the children up in this room that's just one level below the attic. And they stay there. They're locked in. They're not allowed out. And the mother comes and goes, but she's basically out and about doing her own thing, trying to get her own life together, trying to build a new life for herself. And I'm not going to get into that. And they are visited occasionally by their grandmother, who brings them up these lavish layouts of food. Like, she brings up these big carts of food, and they eat and they're happy. But the mother comes to visit them, and she is so checked out. She doesn't even realize that the children really are unwell. They're getting sick. They're losing weight. They're not doing well emotionally, physically, otherwise. And she just kind of pops in and out of their lives and says hello, and off she goes. And like I said, the only real interaction they have is with the grandmother, who sometimes she even forgets to feed them. But I don't want to get too much into this, but basically the kids decide that they have got to get out of this room and figure out what's going on. And when they do, things get wild. And that's all I'm going to say. But if you haven't seen Flowers in the Attic, definitely put it on your list to check out. I think it's a good one. And even if you give it a stream, I think it's well worth watching. Okay, and I have two more films, and I am not going to pretend that either one of them are great films at all, but I'm adding them into the pile because they are Thanksgiving themed, and we really don't have many Thanksgiving themed horror films. I have these two, and that's all I think I really know about, but I'm just adding them in case you want some Thanksgiving horror. And the first one is called Thanksgiving, and it's an Eli Roth film, and it feels like an Eli Roth film. Basically, it starts out and it's Black Friday, and we have this incident that occurs at like a Walmart type of a store where there's a stampede, and people are hurt, people are killed, and the town is just shaken by the events of that night. A year later, we have this group of friends, like high school age friends, and they were involved. They were there the night of the Black Friday incident, and they start getting all these weird group text messages, threats basically. And what we find out is we have a serial killer on the loose, and we're not sure who it is, why they're doing it, and why they're targeting this group of friends. But all I can say is that with this one, it's a Thanksgiving slasher involving young people. It's okay for what it is. There's a lot of gore. There's a lot of silliness to it. There's a lot of predictability, but it's an okay time. It's not horrible. I thought it was okay for what it was, and we have a Thanksgiving slasher, so if you want to check this one out, I'm sure you can stream it if you don't want to add it to your collection, but it's definitely worth one watch at least. So it wasn't terrible. It could have been a lot worse, but I was a little surprised at the reveal, but you know, maybe I'll give it a watch again this year. But Thanksgiving is my next one, and then this last one, I'm sure all of you already know it. You know, it's definitely not cranberry sauce. That's Blood Rage. And this one is from, let me see, it's from 1993, I believe. And basically what we have is twin brothers. If you haven't seen this one, we have twin brothers, and it starts out where one of them puts an axe in the head of someone at a local movie theater and is sent away to an institution. And later, I think it's 10 years later, he gets out, and all of a sudden these killings start to happen again, and it's a cat and mouse game. It is definitely B horror. Don't expect a masterpiece here, but it's a Thanksgiving slasher, and it's good fun, and maybe it'll keep you guessing until the end, maybe it won't, but it's definitely a good time if you like B horror and you're looking for a Thanksgiving themed B horror. I'm stressing B horror here, but Blood Rage is fun, and I do watch this one every year just for a good time. But Blood Rage is my last pick. So that's it. Those are horror films for November, because I think horror in November just hits a little different. And like I said, I will be doing regular horror videos all throughout the year, so no worries. We'll have some good ones for you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found a few to check out if you're looking for horror films for November. If you have any favorites, please leave them down in the comments. I want to know. And again, I want to thank you guys for watching this. You know I appreciate each and every one of you who click on the video. We're trying to get to 8,000 subs, so anything you guys can do, if you can hype the video, share it, whatever, I would really appreciate it. And we're going to live stream tomorrow night, I believe, at 7 Eastern Standard Time. That's Tuesday. I will put a post on the community tab as usual to remind you guys, but if you want to come over and join the chat, please feel free. We had a good time last week. So that's going to do it for me. I'm going to go upstairs. If you're not at the chat tomorrow, I'll catch you in the next one. So for now, that's a wrap.